Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and our first Q&A. Over the past year of van life, we've been getting loads of questions from you guys about how we do this, how we do that, other tips and tricks. So we've put together a list of all your questions that we've had over the past year or so, and we're going to do our best today to answer all those questions.
We're Alan and Sadge, and we live full-time in our converted van Apollo. We're road tripping our way through Europe, discovering what van life on the continent has to offer.
So for those of you that are new to the channel, a bit about us. We moved into the van on the day that the UK went into its lockdown of COVID-19 in early 2021. So we had a few unfortunate months on the roadside in the UK. But then we escaped and we did some fabulous stuff in the UK, didn't we? We did some south of England and Cotswolds, and then we went up and did the Lake District and T500, Scotland, North Wales. Yeah, that was brilliant. And then we finally made it out of England and down into Spain. We did France and Italy and made it over to Croatia. So it's been a wonderful time travelling, and we've learned a lot, and we're quite excited to share some of the things that we've learned with you today.
Yeah, there's definitely stuff we wish we'd have known when we started out. Some of the questions you guys have asked have really kind of linked into that. So, yeah.
So if you enjoy this video, please give us a like and hit the subscribe. It really helps us out.
Yeah, and we'll put some links to some of our other videos too. When we talk about something, I'll superimpose a link. You can
check it out.
Okay, on to the first question then. I've got a list on my phone. Question number one is, what is the one item you couldn't do without in the van? The one item.
Mine is the Max Air fan.
Yeah.
I never thought I would say a fan, but it's just amazing to be comfortable in the van, to be able to have it on when it's raining, when it's really boiling, you can put it on and it just whoops all the air out. Yeah, it's a dream.
Because we've got two fans, one really cheap fan and then the nice Max Air fan, haven't we? And what we tend to do is we tend to have the Max Air fan sucking air in from the other fan, so it creates this lovely like breeze. So when it was 30 degrees in Spain,
40 degrees in the fan.
40, yeah, we got up to 40 degrees. Oh, crazy. But yeah, the Max Air fan created this nice airflow.
Yeah.
I don't know how we'd have done it without that. I mean, there are other fans that you can get, but the Max Air fan really stands out. Yeah.
And I think it really helps with condensation as well. We never get condensation, we never get mold or anything.
Yeah, which is a real problem with fans. If you're thinking about your first build, condensation and that kind of stuff is a real issue. You've got to think about your ventilation. And as you said, being in the UK, where it rains a lot, if you've got a fan that's not a Max Air fan, you can't use it when it's raining, and it rains for 3 days and you're stuck in the van breathing out and all this kind of stuff. It'd be a bit of a nightmare. So yeah, I think that's a good choice.
Yeah. Alan did a review as well, so we'll put that in the corner if you want to watch a full review of the Max Air fan.
Oh yeah, if you want to know about Max Air fans, that's the link. What's mine going to be? I'm going to go for the kettle, which is just a bit lame, but I couldn't live without tea in the van. I'd have a cup of tea in the morning, a cup of tea in the afternoon.
Cup of tea before bed.
Cup of tea before bed, yeah. Tea bags, quite hard to get as well in continental Europe.
Yeah,
I've digressed there, yeah. Don't want to go into a tea bag rant, but it's quite hard to get proper English tea. They say it's English breakfast tea. It's not English breakfast tea. Anyway, we've got a nice old-fashioned kettle that sits on the hob. Don't try and get an electric one, it's just not going to work unless you've got a very complicated setup or you're plugged in all the time. But yeah, I just couldn't do it without the kettle.
Fair enough.
When life's getting you down, have a cup of tea. Have a cup of tea. Yeah. Okay. Question number 2. How did you insure the van? That's not a very, it's not a very exciting question, is it?
We rang around loads of insurance companies, sat on the phone for about half a day, got a decent quote and went with them. Yeah.
There's a few kind of big names to go to which I've made a note of. So Adrian Flux, Brent Care, A-Plan, I think it's Saga and like the Caravan Club if you're of a certain age. It depends if you're doing your own conversion, because our van isn't a camper van, it's not logged with the DVLA as a camper van. It's a converted van, so you just need a company, don't you, that would insure a self-conversion or something like that. So you just need to make sure that you're honest with them and talk it through. But there's quite a few companies, isn't there? It wasn't a problem, I wouldn't say. Yeah, you just got to be honest. It helps if you've got a residential address, and it helps if you've got a second vehicle. But yeah. question number 3, how do you refill your gas?
We've got LPG, GPL. GPL, LPG, we don't know.
It's GPL in continental Europe, it's quite often GPL. So we've got an underslung LPG tank, haven't we, that sits under the back of the van, and that's just for the gas hob. All that the heating is done with the diesel heater. So we don't actually use very much gas anyway, do we?
Yeah, and it's cheap, isn't it?
It's incredibly cheap. And we don't, you don't use that much, and you can get it everywhere in Europe. In the UK, actually, it's weirdly getting quite hard to
we
find.
drove 40 minutes in the wrong direction in Scotland to fill up this GPL tank. And I think we put like 50p in it.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, we've used it for ages, we have to fill it up, 50p.
Yeah, you can literally use like 50p every couple of weeks even, which is ridiculous, even with the tea. So, yeah.
Worth getting if you can.
Yeah, but there are apps, aren't there? So if you Google GPL or LPG, say in Spain, there's a website that comes up that you can use that's got all the locations on it. Apps like Park for Night, I think, have some of the locations on it. But once you're into continental Europe, they're kind of everywhere.
It's easy.
The main thing you need to think about with that is you need an adapter set, because the fittings aren't the same. So you need to go onto Amazon, somewhere like that. There's a 3-piece European adapter kit which has 3 big sort of brass plugs that you slot onto the end of the LPG connector. And it varies slightly. Like in Italy, you're not allowed to fill it up yourself. So in Italy, a nice man will fill it up for you. But yeah, it's been really easy. It's one of the things I was a bit worried about, I think. But actually, it's easier to get it in Europe than it is in the UK. And I think in the UK, you just need to plan around getting it, because it lasts for so long. It's a lot cheaper than the gas bottles. Next question: do you have breakdown cover in Europe?
No, there's a short answer to that. We looked into it. We've followed some people on the YouTubes who've had some really tricky times, so we really looked into it, didn't we? And made some good sort of pros and cons list whether to or not. We decided not to in the end.
Quite expensive,
It's quite
it?
expensive, yeah. And you can, worst case scenario, you can call them. Obviously, they'll charge you more, but yeah, we just decided to risk it. Our van's not really, really old. She runs quite well, so yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. By the time you've got your travel insurance and your van insurance and everything else insurance, we just didn't want another thing to pay for, so we didn't. Yeah.
I think the thing that played on my mind was that Camper Vibe had basically got the same van as us, and they broke down. Was it in Spain they broke down? The head gasket went or something, and it was just a nightmare, and they had to get recovered. I'm sure loads of you watch Camper Vibe. So that was a bit of a stumbling block for us, wasn't it? We were like, they were very glad they had their breakdown cover, but we've just risked it. So. But yeah, there's AA, there's RAC, they all do European breakdown cover. So if you want that, if you've got an older vehicle or anything that's a bit unreliable, probably look at that.
I mean, ask us in a few months when we're stuck somewhere. We'll be like, we wish we'd got it.
We'll put out an appeal video. We've broken down in Croatia. Can anyone help us? Okay. How much do you spend a month when travelling?
Really difficult question to answer. It's so different with different things. And then when we first came over, we found Spain quite expensive actually, didn't we? And we were sort of first out, and we were just like going to the bakeries and buying lots of like expensive.
Yeah, the bakeries are quite a cost in themselves.
Yeah, little fruit tarts and coffees and ice creams and
yeah.
driving a lot. So
fuel is a big cost.
Fuel
isn't it? Fuel and food
are
your two big costs in continental Europe.
Yeah, and even things like, we thought maybe Croatian Lidl, for example, would be a lot cheaper than a really sort of expensive French supermarket, but we spent 90 quid the other day on a Lidl shop, and not massive. No, our fridge isn't that big, it wasn't huge, but yeah, food and fuel are your big uns.
Yeah. I think it does depend, doesn't it, how much you're driving as to how much fuel you'll then use, but things like campsites and things we hardly ever use for most of Europe. It's only really Croatia, because you can't wild camp here very easily, that we've used a lot of campsites, which then has added up, hasn't it? But
and don't underestimate the data costs post Brexit.
Oh god, yeah, if you're trying to do YouTubey stuff and you need a lot of data, it's way more complicated than people make out. Everyone's like, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. It was really stressful, wasn't it, getting SIM cards?
Getting a local SIM card is not easy.
If you speak the language, maybe it's probably a lot easier. But yeah, there's something about everyone in Spain speaks great English, apart from in mobile phone shops where nothing. Not a word. No one can really explain what they mean. You end up with a SIM card.
Yeah, and like you're like looking on the website, it's trying to translate it, but it translated from Spanish, so you can't really read what it is. You're like, do you need to top up now or in a month? Or
Yeah, you get the SIM
Very
card, and
confused.
then you've got to top it up online afterwards.
Yeah.
But it's all in Spanish,
Yeah.
and then it just stopped working, and we
Yeah.
couldn't top it up, and it costs like loads of money.
Yeah.
And,
You call in the helpline and it's in Spanish, and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. yeah.
So there's that.
There's that. Yeah. Yeah,
And
mainly
laundry
to
as
get-
well.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Laundry.
Laundry
Cost
adds
not
up.
to ignore.
Yeah. There's lots of like automatic sites, aren't there, and little old-fashioned laundries and stuff. But they're not super cheap, so that does add up. You know, laundry every couple of weeks, but you're doing like massive loads of laundry. So, but it works. But yeah.
I think as a roundabout figure, you could scrape by on £800 a month, and you could have a lovely time for £2 a month.
£2 a month, you have an incredible time.
Yeah.
I would say though, one thing we thought about, which I think we read online, if you're only going to travel, say, for a year or two, and you're going to go to all these amazing places, if you can, you don't want to not do things because you're always trying to save money.
Yeah.
Like we went up the Mont Blanc, the Skyway, the cable car that takes you up almost to the top of Mont Blanc, for
Which is
example,
so expensive.
which was really expensive, but we're never going to be there again, or probably not.
No.
So you think, well, do I want to do all this travelling and not do some of the more expensive things? And that just depends on your budget and what you can afford, and whether you want to take money out of your savings, if you've got savings and things like that. But it's just something to think about, because you do hear stories of people travelling for a year and they don't spend a penny and they don't do anything, and they kind of have a bit of regret, I think, that maybe they wish they'd have found a way to be able to spend a bit more on a few luxuries. So that's a question for you guys, I think, but just something to think about. Okay, next question. How much solar power do you have? So we've got two 270-watt solar panels, so quite a lot, I would say, which is great because you get more power at the either end of summer. So your spring and your autumn power, basically. Midsummer, you've got more power than you know what to do with, and it's not a problem. But yeah, at the sort of start and end of summer, you've got a bit more power than if you had, say, half as much. It's always a problem, solar. It doesn't. In winter, you never quite get enough energy. I think you can get tilting solar panels and things like that, which can really help because you can track the sun. But yeah, if you're running like two big laptops, for example,
Which we are. And
yeah.
the fan, the precious Max Air fan,
The
which
Max Air
saves up
fan.
quite a lot of energy, I think.
Yeah, it does add up. So it's just something to bear in mind. You certainly won't be able to like have a home office all day, in effect, with laptops and stuff in the middle of winter in the UK without driving.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work. So yeah, you use more than you think. So I would say get the biggest solar setup that you can, unless you're not using laptops and stuff, or you've got one very low power laptop. I mean, obviously we're editing quite a lot, so it all kind of adds up. We've got the drone and we've got the GoPro and the camera equipment and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it does vary. I think the one thing I would say is get a B2B charger. It used to be called like a split charge relay, so something that takes power from your leisure battery. Sorry, something that takes power from your alternator from the engine running and puts it into your leisure battery, because that's kind of been essential, hasn't it, really, for us? Yeah. Oh, and one more thing. Obviously, if you're going to park in summer in Spain, for example, you don't want to be in the sun because it's incredibly hot.
Yeah.
So it's all very well to say, oh, I'll just get solar power, but that means your van's going to have to sit in 35, 40 degrees sun. So that's something else to think about. The bigger the solar panel, the less time it has to sit in the sun. Yeah. Once again, we got our van to over 40 degrees. It was awful.
We'll never forget it.
Because it doesn't cool down very quickly either. It's not like
It's like 9 o'clock at night, like, oh, it's gone down to 38 degrees.
Yeah, it's not like a house. And if you're on the side of the road, we were in the Costa del Sol, I think, weren't we? And we're like kind of stealth camping or stealth parking, whatever you want to call it, on this sort of residential road. You can't just open all your doors and windows and stuff. Like, they don't really want you there at the best of times.
I remember standing round the back of the van, this tiny little sling of shade, just standing there like, I'm in the shade, I'm in the shade.
Yeah, shade is going to be your friend.
Yeah, but take that into account when you're thinking about your solar setup.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless you're on sites all the time, then you just plug it in.
Yeah,
Boom.
true. Yeah, if you're on sites all the time, get an aircon. You can get a little aircon unit. You can
Get a microwave.
Cool,
Get a blender.
Get a blender. Amy and Becca got a blender. What toilet do you have?
Do you want to do the toilet? Is this your job?
It's very much my job, the toilet. It's the matriarchy. Yeah, we have got a porta potty, so it's a traditional chemical toilet, sometimes known as a cassette toilet. It's got chemicals in the bottom, you do your business, and then you empty it out at a site or an air once a week. It's a bit of a controversial thing because I know some people don't get on well with them and they smell, but honestly ours doesn't really smell
At all.
Yeah, like it really doesn't, and it's just really convenient. Like having your own toilet with you all the time is superb. I know some people don't have toilets in their van. I don't know how we'd make that work really. You'd be a proper slave to public toilets and conveniences, or just having to go out and dig a hole. But like there's so many people doing van life now, it's quite hard to do the whole dig a hole thing. I mean, I'm sure there are people that do it really well and make it work for them, but for us it's just not going to work. So yeah, we've got a porta potty, and you just empty it at an air once or twice a week. If it's if it's really hot, you do it like empty it twice a week probably. I think the biggest tip, it's a bit gross people, don't wee in your toilet. Wee in a bottle.
Don't wee in your toilet.
It's very easy to empty out a little bottle of wee somewhere discreetly. That's not a problem. Don't put chemicals in it, just wee. And then your porta potty will last for ages basically, and it won't smell as much. Which actually leads me on to the next question, which is what chemicals do you use in your porta potty? We've tried them all. We've got the eco green chemical stuff, we've got the traditional blue and pink stuff, and we've tried tablets like washing.
Oh yeah, laundry tablets.
Laundry tablets, yeah.
That was a no for me.
It's an emergency situation. I think it's okay, but
At first I was like, oh, it smells really nice. It's like fresh laundry, and then like 24 hours later I was like, nope, back to the chemicals.
yeah, it does break it down, the solids. But it doesn't work as well as the proper chemical. I know people swear by it, but it definitely doesn't.
Not for us anyway. Like for you, not for us.
The eco stuff's good because obviously you can dispose of it anywhere where there's like a silage tank or a septic tank, I think is what I mean. They're not on the main system, so you've got to be careful because bacteria break down the matter and stuff, so you can't kill off everything in the tank. So you can use that there. But yeah, there wasn't a lot between the two, I thought, on the eco stuff, so I would say just experiment. I mean, don't be afraid to use laundry tabs, but it's just not quite as good, we thought. It's
Toilet.
sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's just a toilet at the end of the day, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's full of your poo.
That's the job. Toilets are always a bit of a controversial issue, aren't they, in van life? So let us know. Let us know in the comments below what you use, what you're planning to use, what you might use.
If anyone's got a composting toilet, I'd be keen to hear. Because I always think, well, are you not left with a load of pooey soil, basically?
For a year.
Because compost takes ages to break down, like a year. So are you not just left with a load of, I don't know. Be keen
Let us
to
know, guys.
Yeah, let us know. Next question. What are the best and worst things about living in a van? Ooh, that's quite a good question, actually. Well, I think for me, the best has got to be the freedom. You know, we definitely did van life so that we could see the world and travel, you know, go to interesting places and do interesting things. Running in the mountains is a big passion of mine, so, well, ours really. So, excuse me, being able to do that was just incredible. Chamonix, amazing. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think the best for me is that being closer to nature thing. I love just opening up doors in the morning, opening out the back doors, just being on the bed, and we've just been into some amazing mountain views.
Yeah.
And to just be so close to nature is definite best thing for me, I think.
Yeah.
Plus also being able to access all these places very cheaply compared to paying for hotels all the time.
Yeah, when you're parking up in a lovely little alpine sort of ski place in summer and it's all beautiful and stuff, and all the, you know, people are paying hundreds and hundreds of pounds to spend a week there, and we're just in a car park for free. Quite like
And
that.
it's our house as well that's there. It's our bed and all the gubbins that we've got. It's different to going to a hotel room and just living out of a backpack or a suitcase.
That is true, isn't it? Everywhere you go, your home is with you, which is
amazing.
just, it is great.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is one of the best things. Yeah.
Worst?
Worst, yeah, what's your worst?
I don't know. What's your worst?
I think one of my worst things is not having a sofa.
Yeah!
Like a big comfy sofa. Like we've got these camping chairs which are fine. The van itself has got like a bench seat. We've got a really comfy bed, so you slouch in that most evenings. But it's not the same as a massive comfy sofa from IKEA or something, you know. Like I do miss that. After a long run or something, to just be able to like sink into a sofa. And there's less of that than you think, because they don't have that coffee culture in Europe in the way that, like that American coffee culture. There's no sort of friend set with a big sofa to sit on or anything like that, so you don't really come across sofa.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, weirdly, stuff like the toilet and all the kind of stuff that I thought would bother me just doesn't bother me at all. Like, you know, having a toilet in your kitchen that you pull out and stuff. all that stuff you just get used to really quickly, like showering and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, not being able to sit down on a sofa.
I think for me it's probably having a really tiny kitchen, which is really tricky to cook in. Like everything is, our fridge is basically like on the floor. You have to like, to get to the back of the fridge, you've got to get on your hands and knees and look down, and there's no oven, you can just pop some stuff in. There's so many recipes that we can't do, and tiny little areas to cook in, and then everything takes so long and to wash up. So it's fine, it's totally doable, and we're, you know, doing fine. But yeah, I think I do miss just having a decent kitchen with all the bits there, and then a dishwasher.
The dishwasher, yeah, that's true. The washing up can get a bit tiresome.
Yeah, and you're a bit like, I want to cook, so I have to wash up.
Yeah, back when we had a house, we didn't have a dishwasher for ages, and then we got a dishwasher, and it was a bit of a game changer.
Yeah, it was a bit, wasn't it?
I was very much like, I don't need a dishwasher, it's fine. But if you can get a dishwasher, if anyone has a dishwasher,
yeah, in their van,
that would be incredible. Yeah, wow. Next question: how do you keep clean? How do you keep clean, Sadge?
Well, on campsites, obviously, when we do use them, rarely we use the facilities.
Yep.
When it's decently warm outside and there's somewhere to have a shower and privacy, we use our outdoor shower. And if all fails, we do a sink wash, don't we?
Yeah.
Flannel, soap, water on, soap on, water off, dry.
Yeah.
It's not amazing, but it's totally doable.
Gets the job done, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Gets you washed and dried. And since I figured out that washing is actually just getting wet, adding soap, taking off soap, drying, I was a bit like, well, it's fine.
Break it down, people. Break it down. Yeah. We don't have any hot water in the van. We've only got a kettle, so you have to boil the kettle, don't you? But the external shower has a built-in heater. So.
Oh, so we do use the LPG for the shower?
That's true. We use the LPG for the shower.
There you go.
Yeah. But it does work really well. I think the hardest thing with the outdoor shower is being somewhere where you can get undressed.
Yeah.
We've had some very interesting showers. We've got a shower curtain that we put around the back of the doors now. But yeah, there's been some risky alfresco showers in Spanish car parks.
Yeah. Quickly trying to do it.
It's quite fun though, you get used to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, next question is, how do we find places to park?
Well, it's Park for Night, really.
Park for Night. It's nearly all Park for Night, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the dream app. That's just, I don't know how, we would really struggle to do van life without it.
Yeah.
I know there's different ones. There's a wild camping one for the UK. There's iOverlander, that kind of thing. But honestly, we've just stuck to Park for Night. And Park for Night is great because even if it just gets you to a place where there is parking, where you can sort of find your own way within it. Like we've definitely gone to park ups which aren't Park for Night, but it just generally kind of takes you to that kind of area where you can find places.
I think the thing is, if you're talking continental Europe and that kind of area, there's so many places to stop and you're so welcome. It's just not a problem. Yeah. You're not kind of, in the UK it can feel like people don't really want you there sometimes. You just don't get that over here. So in that sense it's just super easy, isn't it? But in the UK I would say Park for Night is a little bit trickier, although we still use it an awful lot, don't we? But if you're going for like an industrial estate or a kind of stealthy park up for the night and stuff, then it's more about common sense and knowing the area and exploring. But still, Park for Night will take you to the area, and if it doesn't work, you can go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's it. You at least have backups. So
yeah,
it's great.
Get Park for Night, install it.
And we've never had a knock. Never been moved on. Nothing. Oh no, we did have we had a guy in the Italian car park knock on the door at 7 a.m. and said, "Could you move to a slightly different part of this car park?"
Yeah. We thought like, oh, finally the old bill. It's finally happened.
Yeah, we were like, yeah.
Come on. But no, he was just like, just park over there because they like to keep all the vans in one little area. But yeah.
One day.
But I would say it's just being about being considerate, isn't it, and using your common sense. And if there's loads of other vans there, don't park there. If it's in front of other people's houses and stuff, try not to park there. It's just a bit of consideration, really. But yeah, it's been fine.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. I feel like I need glasses. I'm getting to that age now. How do you keep warm in winter? I'll take this one because the look of anger on your face says it all.
I get mild flashbacks to lockdown in January in a van.
It was quite cold, when we locked down in our new van. You need a diesel heater. Well, we've got a diesel heater. I think you need a diesel heater. Diesel heaters are amazing.
Diesel heater.
Yeah, they use very little fuel. They blow lovely hot air. If you get a Chinese one, they're very cheap. If you get a posher German one, they can cost a bit more, but they are a bit more reliable, a bit safer. Debatable. There's a whole forum on Facebook about that. Don't even start. But yeah, it's a good bed with a good duvet and clothes and gloves, and it's cold in the morning, and I don't know really.
It's just like a multi-pronged approach to desperately trying to keep warm, really.
Insulate your van.
Oh,
Absolute
yes.
must.
Yes, we've got great insulation.
Yeah, good insulation.
Yeah.
But it's going to be cold when you wake up and the heater's not been on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Hot water bottle, if you can be asked.
Yeah, well, I had a hot water bottle on my feet every night because I get cold feet.
Yeah. I would say it's definitely a challenge of van life. There's definitely a tendency towards being all tough and saying, oh, it's fine, just put another duvet on or something. But it is cold in winter in the UK, let alone Canada and places like that. I mean, people do it in Sweden and all sorts, don't they? So, it's just about accepting it's going to be a bit cold when we wake up. What you want to make sure is that the diesel heater switch can be switched on from the bed. Yeah.
Yes.
And then you just switch it on. They warm up the van really quickly, don't they? Like 10 minutes tops, and it's toasty warm.
But make sure that you service it quite often. We realised about 4 months in that we've used it for over 2,000 hours.
Yeah. We have it on at night.
24/7.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I wake up at 2 in the morning and it's like 2 degrees. So.
I wouldn't have it on at night. Sadge is a bit of a cold sleeper, aren't you? So
we have rows about that.
So we have it on at night. So it keeps the van not warm at night, but it takes the chill off, I'd say. Yeah.
We've negotiated about 8 degrees, which to me is still freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're a tough old soul and you don't wee much in the night and you can just stay under your duvet, then you could probably just have it off at night and extra duvet or something. Or get a dog, they're quite warm.
Yeah. Or do what we're doing now, if we can, is to spend it in the south of Spain and Portugal.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. if you could get to the south of Spain, it's quite nice, I hear.
Yeah.
Or Morocco. A lot of people go to Morocco. Yeah, not sure we'll go to Morocco, but watch this space. Options, yeah. It was hard in winter though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to dress it up and say like, oh, it's just fine. Like it's hard compared to a house. Living in a van in the UK in winter is a lot more challenging. Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit of a wimp, right?
So am I.
Yeah. Favourite place you have visited so far?
Ooh. I really find it tricky to just do one. Can we have 2?
Yeah. As long as you can't have what I've got though.
Okay, well, you go first.
Chamonix. Chamonix is just amazing. I love Chamonix. Chamonix is incredible. Everyone should go to Chamonix. Oh, it's just beautiful. Because we love the running and the mountains, it's just this little valley, for those that haven't been, it's a little valley surrounded by incredible mountains, incredible running. Obviously in winter it's more of a ski resort. Little lay-by just as you come out that you can park in. I mean, it's the crazy thing about France and kind of the continent that there's this really expensive, notoriously expensive kind of resort, isn't there, for like all these kind of outdoor pursuits, but that you're still allowed to park your van in the lay-by just as you come in and just as you go out, and everyone's cool with it, and there's loads of vans there and climbers and runners, and it's just amazing. Like in the UK in the Lake District and stuff, people are going absolutely, they're getting quite upset with the vans and things like that, in Devon and Cornwall, and all you hear is this kind of hostility, and then you go to somewhere like Chamonix and it's like 20 times as beautiful in some regards, although I love the Lake District, it is amazing. And you're just so free and welcome, and I really love it.
He might love it a little bit.
Yeah. And there's Mont Blanc, which is quite high and nice, and and it's all alpiney and outdoory, sporty, and the town's got I had a pizza and they put chips on it, right? A pizza with chips on.
Pizza with chips. A day before the marathon as well, so it's perfect carbohydrate loading time.
Yeah, it's that kind of culture I'm in for, I'll shut up now. What do you like?
I mean, I'd like to say the entirety of France.
Yeah, big France fan over here.
Big France fan. Yeah, that was lovely. I really like the Isle of Skye as well.
Yeah.
So the old Banner store,
Yeah.
when we went there at 8 o'clock in the morning, there's no one there, was magical.
Yeah, Isle of Skye is incredible.
Yeah. That was amazing. And worst place? Was there a worst place? Is
Oh
that in
God,
the question?
there is no. I don't think there was, but the worst place was Romney Marshes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we went there when we just started with the van, and the weather was awful, and we parked on this desolate bit of beach, kind of like a little car park, and the wind was just blowing this gale all night, like if you haven't slept in a van in really high winds, it's quite noisy and it can be a bit distressing,
It can,
almost
yeah,
a bit like
shaking
anxiety
around
provoking.
and-
Like it literally shakes the van, and it was just so bleak. And we were looking at the reviews, and people were saying that there'd been all these problems in the car park.
Yeah,
and
like police turned up at 3 o'clock.
it just felt. I'm sure it's a lovely place if you live there. I'm not dissing Romney Marshes, but for us it was a barren, featureless wasteland, and we couldn't wait to get out.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. That and that little car park that we found really hot in the south of Italy. Remember that one?
No, what was that one?
It was like completely covered in mosquitoes. It was about 38
yeah.
degrees.
Yeah, that's hilarious because I left a little review on Park for Night. I don't often do it, but I left a review saying this is amazing. There's this lovely place you could park and
no
stay
one
overnight.
here?
There's no one here. And within about 10 minutes, we'd been bitten about 30 times each. It was just flies and mosquitoes, and you couldn't believe it. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah.
But generally we've loved like 99.9% of all the places we've been.
Yeah. There's always something good in everywhere, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And even if you can't get across to Europe, like the Lake District, North Wales,
South Wales.
Pembrokeshire, Peak District, there's loads of amazing places. Cotswolds is really nice, isn't
Yeah,
it?
definitely. You can do Devon and Cornwall, fair play to you.
Yeah, we need to try and get to Devon and Cornwall. Hear sort of mixed things about how welcome van life is like. If you've been to Devon and Cornwall,
Yeah.
sort of cut through the hype of it and let us know how you found it, because we're kind of tempted to check it out.
Yeah. And Ireland as well, aren't we? In fact, this
Yeah.
is getting on to the next question, which is future plans.
Is that our next question?
It's
Future
the last
plans?
question,
Oh,
future
dear.
plans.
Yeah, future plans. What are our future plans, my darling?
So we're thinking Ireland at some point, whether that's soonish or in the spring.
Yeah.
But we're absolutely going to be spending the depths of winter on the Costa del Sol. We want to do Christmas in Benidorm, don't we?
I've never been to Benidorm. I think I'll love it.
It's a classic place. We'll go.
Yeah. Basically, I just want some bacon because I've not had any bacon in about 6 months.
With proper Heinz tomato sauce.
Yeah.
There's a lovely expat community there, isn't there? So I think it's quite British. So yeah, south of Spain and Portugal for the peak of winter.
Yeah.
And we'll be making our way down through France, back up probably through France because we love it so much. And yeah, then absolutely going to do some more of the UK to get out of the Schengen. And then after that, who knows?
Who knows?
The
Yeah.
world is our oyster. I want to go to Norway and see the fjords. We've not done Greece yet.
Maybe
Obviously.
America.
Maybe
That
America.
was. Who said that? What? I don't know.
So
But
I
yeah.
want to go back to Chamonix, won't you?
Chamonix. Got to go back to Chamonix. Have I mentioned I really like Chamonix? Chamonix. Yeah. Good.
So, those are all our questions and answers.
Yeah.
Hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful, got some value out of it. If you have, give us a like.
If you have found it useful, I think we'll do another one, won't we?
Yeah, if you've
So-
got any other questions.
Yeah, drop us some comments with your questions or message us or something. We'll do another one. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for
Thanks for
watching.
watching.